Alright, so our next video in building rapport is going to be regarding creating interest. So we've already disarmed them. We've already established how we can have a conversation with them. We've been able to prove our credibility. So now we need to create interest. Something to keep them on the phone and really just to keep engaging with us. By creating this interest and helping them to trust us, it's going to allow us to get the information that we need. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of throw out there that you're a cash buyer. Then we're going to address language, phrases, as well as some of the soft tests that we're going to use. So for the cash buyer, I never really say that I'm going to make you an offer. I don't want to do this because I don't want them to feel threatened. I don't want them to feel like I'm pushing anything on them. So I use a lot of language like, yeah, I'm a cash buyer and I want to make an offer. I was just wondering if you'd consider taking a look at it. Or if I put something together for you, would you consider taking a look? Now that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm actually going to put something together, because if they don't have my type of motivation, then I'm not going to spend any time writing out an offer for them. But by using that kind of language, I can get a feel for whether they do have an interest, and also to determine if we want to take the conversation further. So the language needs to always be non-threatening. So I use phrases like, I'll throw something out there, no harm, no foul. Or I might say something like, I'll throw something out there for you and you can just be the judge of that. So basically, I just want to make sure that they feel like they're in control and that I'm just presenting something to them. So again, if I don't feel like they have a deep sense of motivation, then I'm not going to actually present anything to them. But I also don't want them to feel like I'm going to force anything on them. I don't want them to feel like I'm some kind of a lowball shark. I'm going to come beat the heck out of them on price or anything like that. I just don't find that to be efficient. For the soft test, by using these short kinds of phrases, like throw something out there for you, it's going to open up the communication for them to respond. If you're using good phrases and good language, they're going to tell you everything that you need to know. So these are almost just really questions that are being posed as phrases. So let's look at some of the questions that they might have. So the first one, for example, would be, how do you figure out what you're going to pay? How do you determine what your price is? What I usually tell people is, I'm not somebody that's going to come out and lowball. I'm really not trying to make the biggest profit. When I make offers, all I want to do is make something where the seller feels comfortable and I feel comfortable. Basically, I make offers that I know I can make a reasonable profit on and still stay safe. I'll tell people that I pay as much as possible where I can still make a little something and I can still be safe and comfortable, that I'm not going to actually lose any money. My goal isn't necessarily to make the most money. When I buy property and I put all my work into it, my goal is to obviously not lose any money. Investors actually lose money more than you might think, and a lot of times it's because they pay too much. So my goal is just to make sure that I'm safe. So this is going to tell them that I'm not here to take advantage of you, but I do need to make a reasonable profit. Now if they have a problem with that, they're probably not the right person to work with. So another thing that people might say is, for example, they might say, we're not going to just give away the property. And that's something you can kind of just let them talk about, because they're usually going to tell you a bit more. Most times when they're posing this kind of question or they're making this kind of a statement, they're just really looking for a fair offer. Or maybe they're even just super motivated and they don't want to admit just how motivated they are. Sometimes this is just used as a defense mechanism. But once you actually start talking to them, you find out that they really do have a motivation to sell. Maybe even to sell in the next 30 days.